Hello, welcome back. Today I'm thinking about chicken. A roast chicken is one of the most economical things that you can cook. You have it hot with vegetables the first day, use the cold meat the next day, and then you're left with the carcass. In the winter, I like to use that to make soup. So I'm going to get the carcass into the pan. But first of all, I've taken off the meat that's left on there. So it's a bit of a messy job, but reserve that and you can add that to your soup later. So we'll get the carcass into the pan. Cover it with cold water, and then we need to add some flavourings. So, to my pan, I'm going to add some black peppercorns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they won't stay in there, I'll take those out later. I'm going to add a bay leaf, and I'm going to add an onion. Just quickly take the skin off. I'm not bothering to chop this because this won't actually stay in the soup. This is just for flavouring the stock. So just 2 halves of onion go in with the peppercorns and the bay leaf, and that's now ready to go on, boil and simmer for 30 minutes. Here we go. So lid on, and we'll get that up to the boil and then turn it down, and it simmers for 30 minutes. And now I'm going to prepare the vegetables. Now, the vegetable element is going to be a mixture really of whatever you've got. And I've got carrots, celery, potato, parsnip and another onion. And I would peel these. I suppose you don't really have to, but I prefer to. Now with celery you need to make sure it's clean, so just make sure you've washed it both sides. You can use the leaves at the top, so don't take those off. So that's ready to be chopped in a minute. I'm going to just take that tired end off the top of there and that bit of root where it's a bit tough. And then you don't need to peel the potato, you can just cut that up, and then we'll do the onion. This time it does need to be in smaller pieces. And of course, while that carcass is cooking, you could do this with your turkey. So chicken or turkey, and that would be a really good way of using your turkey carcass as well. If you don't want to make soup straight away, you can freeze the stock and then use it another day. Don't take the core out of the parsnip either. That section down there is a little bit hard, but it will be fine in this because it has a long while to cook. Celery and parsnip both have quite strong flavours, so if that's not something that you like, don't use quite as much celery as I am. 1 stick would be enough. Really, the ingredients for this are infinitely variable, because if you've got a couple of tomatoes you want to use, you can put those in. And at the very end you can always put in some sweet corn, but we'll come to that later. Make it with the flavours that your family like. Okay, there we are. That's my vegetables. All I've got to do now is wait for the carcass to simmer for 30 minutes, and then we can move on to the next stage. Right, the soup's had half an hour, and we've got stock there, and we've got a very well cooked carcass, and I need to take off what's left of the meat on there, so I'm going to go and strain that. Now do this very carefully. Don't let it splash. There we are. So there's our cooked carcass. Now the next thing to do is just lift that out gently and let the stock drain as much as you can. Put that onto a plate. And then you're going to return the stock to the saucepan and put the vegetables in. Just take care with this, it's very, very hot. Right, to that we add our bowl of vegetables. And then we go and cook those now. We cook those in the boiling stock for probably 30 minutes again, because you've got to just test that things like the parsnip and the potato are cooked. So back to the cooker. And in order just to enhance the flavour a little bit, I'm going to put in a bouquet garni, just one little tea bag. And I'm also going to just make sure it tastes good, and I'm going to put in a chicken stock cube. I know it's cheating, but you want people to enjoy this. So back up to the boil. You don't put any of the chicken meat in here at this stage, because you really don't want to keep on cooking it because it will get tough. So get the vegetables cooked, and then we'll zap it with a stick blender, then we put in the reserved chicken. But in the meantime, I'm going to look at the carcass when it's cooled a bit and take off any more meat that's just still clinging to the carcass. Now the soup has had 30 minutes. So I need to test that the vegetables are cooked. And to do that, I'm going to find a piece of potato and just prod it. Is that potato or parsnip? Well, they're done anyway. Oh, there's potato. Yeah, that's done. Right, good. I also need to take out the bouquet garni. I've got a little plate ready for that. And the next job is to blend this with a stick blender. So we're going to use the stick blender, fabulous piece of kit, and get rid of the lumps. Now you can take out all the lumps or you can take out some of the lumps, it's entirely up to you. And if you haven't got a stick blender, you can always use a potato masher. When you've done the blending, if it's too thick, if you would like your soup to be thinner, you can simply add a bit more water. So here we go, at an angle into the liquid, and I'm going to use the fastest speed. Doing it in bursts is always a good idea, because then you can stop and decide whether it's just the right sort of texture or whether you want to keep going. I'm going to stop at that. I've got some lumps and I quite like that. So I'll turn this off because they're quite dangerous things and you don't want to get hurt. It's very sharp. I'm going to taste it, and I've got a cold spoon for that because the soup is very hot and you will burn your mouth. Oh, that's very nice. I don't think I need to add any salt. I'm going to put some pepper in there. And I've also got the chicken that I saved from earlier. I also got some more off the carcass when it was cooked, so there's quite a little bit in there. I don't want that piece of skin though, because that doesn't look very nice. I'm going to tip that in. Give it a stir. And there we have a very, very hearty chicken soup, or it could be turkey soup. And the next thing I'm going to do today is make some soda bread, or maybe some bread rolls to serve with this, because that would be a perfect lunch. So have a go. Hope you enjoy it. Bye.